Summertime in Belair is going to be an absolute blast. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Lawrence Report. Tonight's broadcast discussing episodes 1 through 3, all about Belair, baby. And yes, we are officially back in Belair. And yes, this is my first time covering this Belair series because I didn't have my YouTube channel when season 1 and 2 started, but I'm here for season 3, 4, 5, and 6 because I can go and tell y'all from what I saw last night, from those first 3 episodes, we are going to get 3 more seasons of Belair. It was just that good, y'all. But yes, welcome to the Lawrence Report. And before we go even further on Belair, it'd be greatly appreciated if you guys could hit the subscribe button, like, share, and please do not forget to comment. I'm so glad that this show is back, but I gotta hit y'all with some quick questions. Are y'all team LaMarcus or team Jazz? Are y'all team Lisa or team Jackie? I'm just gonna give y'all some quick random thoughts, right? Man, Will's not gonna be playing basketball no more, right? He's trying to express and go out and venture into the business world, right? Carlton, I'm happy for him. He has a girlfriend. I'm excited to see how that's going to continue to develop his relationship. Oh man, Uncle Phil, not my boy Uncle Phil. Why didn't he even just tell his wife, Aunt Viv, about the kiss, right? It would have been so much easier than trying to sweep it underneath the rug, right? Jazz, LaMarcus, what are we going to do about that? Hillary's caught in the middle. Oh my goodness, right? I hope I didn't leave anybody out, but I think those are some of the most. Oh, my boy Jeffrey, your son, he trying to do some old dirty work that you was doing. So, man, this is going to be very intriguing. A lot of good storylines are going to come from this season of Belair. And don't forget, Aunt Viv, she got a little eye candy checking her out as well. So, Belair, baby. On Belair, I'm kind of going to be doing my quick thoughts, my quick reactions about this season. Let's get right into it, y'all. Belair. So we see right off the top, like I said, kind of going to be doing like quick thoughts, right? Off the top, Will is intrigued by Vic Mensa's character. He's basically a retired boxer and turned an entrepreneur, right? And it seems like Will has been thinking about going outside the box and outside the realm of basketball, right? So he's kind of like inspired by this guy right here, right? And at the same time, we got to talk about Carlton. Carlton's going to rehab because he's been, oh my God, he's been on these drugs bad. And when he's finally, when we see him in rehab, there is a girl that's also in the corner. I think her name was Amira. I could be wrong. I think it was Amira, but she kind of has been helping Carlton cope through what he's been facing, right? And one of the things I loved about this right here, how Ashley was pushing Carlton for the best. Right? Ashley was traumatized by seeing Carlton do those drugs, right? And whenever they're at the dinner table, she puts it on him. She's trying to make sure that he actually, took something from his rehab and that he didn't think that it was just a game, because she was definitely truly affected by this right here. I think it's going to be hard, but I think Carlton is finally getting it right. And oh my God, Uncle Phil. He's basically telling his wife Viv, it's like, yo, it's been a minute since I got a chance to smash. And she's like, well, I just been stressed with this right here and that. He's like, okay. He's like, are we at that point where we need to schedule our smash sessions? And Viv's like, well, maybe we are. Just maybe we are. And I thought that Lou may have been out of the picture, right? But apparently Lou was still hanging out in Belair. He basically is working out in this barbershop, because when I'm seeing Lou and Will running to each other at this diner, and them two do not get along. Will confronts his dad like, yo, how long you been in LA, out here in Beverly Hills? You ain't say nothing. I'm kind of hurt by this right here, right? And Lou was talking about, oh, I was going to reach out eventually. Stop it, Lou. But the one thing that they do have in common is the game of basketball, right? Lou shows these pictures and lets him know that the game of basketball, it runs through your DNA because it comes from me, right? And I think that's going to be the way that they end up bonding is through the game of basketball. But for Will, he's still hurt by this right here. I completely understand where he's coming from. Your dad's been gone all this long. All of a sudden, your dad's going to be living out there in California, LA with you, and he not trying to reach out. I completely get it, right? And it's so bad for Will. Like, this thing's on his mind heavy. He can't even focus on the game of basketball, right? So, in fact, he ends up telling Doc, I'm going to step away from the game. Like, I want to try something else. He goes to Uncle Phil for advice and Uncle Phil tells him to basically go for your dreams. If you want to do business, if you want to step outside basketball, do that. So that is something new for Will. It's going to be different seeing Will not play basketball this season right here. And apparently while overseas, LaMarcus ended up asking Hillary to marry him. And she makes this announcement at the party. She's fed up already with what Jazz told her because Jazz called her out. She didn't like that right there. She says basically that, LaMarcus basically says that, I got down on one knee. I proposed to her. Everybody's happy. Because even Jazz walks in with a pretty good looking woman himself, but it's obvious that those two, Hillary and Jazz, are still in love. We saw I think it was on another episode in which them two got into an argument. And he was like, yo, why keep coming to these banks functions and why you keep showing up? Yada, yada, yada. And before you know it, they end up making out. So Hillary wants to tell LaMarcus, but LaMarcus gets into he ends up collapsing on the field. And Karuchi's character, she tells her that, you may want to take this to the grave, but Hillary can't do it. She's going to have to confess that her and Jazz did end up kissing, so that's going to be crazy. I can't wait to see how that storyline plays out. And as far as Carlton, Carlton's mom, Aunt Viv, is not feeling Amira. I think one of the reasons why, she kind of sees it maybe as a traumatic bond. Not to mention Amira kind of said that, oh yeah, well, I'm kind of like a repeat offender there when it comes to her trying to get away from the drugs. She's a repeat offender at this facility. So it's not good. It is not good. But that is basically episode 1. Oh, and of course, you got to talk about the Dark Knight, the Batman of the house, the mysterious one, talking about my guy, Jeffrey. Now, Jeffrey has been trying to escape his past, right? He was back in the day running with the top boys, these Guan London boys, So now he's trying to bring Frederick over here. We met Frederick last season, right? He's trying to bring Frederick over here to keep him safe. But apparently these guys know all about Frederick, and they know about the Belair residence because, Phil and Frederick's father, they are basically making sure that the house has a great alarm system. So Jeffrey and Phil feels like you did what you had to do. You did when it came to you trying to get your son. You wanted to make sure he was protected. Now, I completely get that myself. But now, Jeffrey's past is about to potentially haunt him because we see that Frederick is caught up in this hustling mentality, this hustling game, which is not going to be good. So in episode 2, we end up seeing Will and Carlton. They are about to get a job because Uncle Phil's like, listen, y'all are not about to sit around my house all summer long. Y'all not playing basketball. Carlton isn't involved in anything. He's only recovering. This would be the perfect opportunity. It seems like this right here may have been Carlton's first job, actually, which was basically going to be at the country club, right? So I thought it was dope seeing Will and Carlton both step outside of realms that they really never have been a part of. And for Carlton and Will, they have to come up with this business idea, right? So basically to impress Vic Mensa's character. He's like, listen, y'all got 48 hours to put something on the table or something to drop y'all from the program. And they end up, Will end up coming up with a clothing line basically. And it's gonna be like a lifestyle black access, right? So I thought that was dope in itself right there. They finally set up to the plate and make sure that they did impress Vic Mensa's character. Also in this episode, it's going to be very vital for Uncle Phil, Erica, and Aunt Viv. Right now, Aunt Viv is she's planning this event, but something did not go right with the catering. Right, so her assistant basically reached out to a guy by the name of Sharif. Apparently, he makes these goat and chicken tacos. Right now, this is a very muscular man, and the ladies are kind of going crazy over this brother right here. In fact, Aunt Viv ends up basically getting a little bit embarrassed, or she was blushing, I guess, because of the man's attractiveness, right? And as far as Uncle Phil, now we saw on last season, Erica is a girl from the past, right? When it comes to Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv, right? Apparently, they may have did something back in the day. Viv found out about it. She thought everything was going to go away. She comes back a couple years later. Her and Uncle Phil end up going into business as partners, and she ends up making a move on Uncle Phil. She ends up kissing him, right? And he never ends up telling Viv about it. He kind of sweeps it under the rug because he thought, hey, it's just a harmless kiss, right? And Uncle Phil, I can't defend you, brother. You gotta tell your wife about something of that nature right there. And Aunt Viv feels like something's definitely off in the relationship, and Uncle Phil, as he's making these business deals, he's having this big party, they could tell that something is off with Erica. She's kind of drunk, and time and time again, Uncle Phil tries to brush it off until it doesn't happen no longer. Viv ends up going to Erica. Erica comes clean, because Erica's been acting kind of awkward anyway, right? Erica comes clean and reveals that she did end up kissing Phil. And then there's this big argument that is ensuing. Not good. But also for Aunt Viv, I didn't think they was gonna do this right here. They gave her Sharif, right? If you remember Michael Ealy's character, he is kind of similar to Sharif. They gave her another guy for her to kind of get hot and steamy over. It turns out that Aunt Viv is being stalked by a painter. I think that the painter and the artist who's been drawing these portraits is definitely Sharif, but over time we will find out. As far as my boy Jazz, things are not necessarily going good at the vinyl store. He basically get a notice about these collections that's piling up for him, and they are about to kick him out because it's kind of like these companies are coming in to build where his music store is basically located, right? And the Banks family is more than well equipped enough to help him pay off whatever he's dealing with when it comes to the financial capital of the store, right? But he wants to get it out the mud. He wants to do it himself. I understand he doesn't want necessarily want a handout from the banks, but he wants to do it on his own. We see him and Uncle Phil talking, but later we end up seeing that the team, they rally around him because they end up having this drag race, and it was like 30,000 on that he put on the table, and at the same time, Jazz ended up putting his car up for sale, and Will was like, listen, we can't do this right here, we cannot do this right here. And they ended up winning the race. Jazz's car is safe, he has the money, so it seems like everything is gonna be okay for Jazz, because he was emotional in that car. He was like, yo, give me a minute, I gotta sell my baby. Like, all that Jazz has is his fancy car, his old school car, and that record store, if we're being honest. But I'm happy to see him rally behind Jazz. It's gonna be good. I hope it's gonna be smooth sailing for Jazz coming up, and just maybe he'll end up getting back with Hillary. That boy Frederick is into doing some shady business, right? We end up seeing Will at this party. Will ends up overhearing some of the stuff that's been going on with Frederick, and Will eventually tells Carlton that Frederick is not who we think he is. In fact, this dude may be caught up in some gang stuff, kind of like his father was over there in London. So Frederick is a hustler. You know, we'd have seen him even get into a little dispute, you know, with some guys that they was racing against, right? Frederick, he's a piece of work. He is a piece of work, y'all. Now, apparently everybody's working at this country club, right? Viv basically put Jackie. So now you got Jackie, Will, and Carlton. But Lisa is there also. But Viv claims that she did not know that Will and Jackie was smashing, right? And Lisa and Jackie have both been competing for Will's heart, right? And in fact, there's a big confrontation that is going on between the two. It's a big beef because it's like, yo, Jackie keeps throwing herself at Will, and Lisa got tired of it. She got fed up. She's like, yo, are you always this thirsty? Are you always in a bikini? Are you always trying to show off your goodies to other men? And Lisa's fed up, right? She's like, yo, if you want to be with Jackie, go be with Jackie. And she gives Will an ultimatum, like, choose me or Jackie, right? Will makes the right decision, ends up choosing Jackie. Cool, it is what it is, right? So I'm happy that Will is not going to be playing with that deadly fire called Jackie. So in the end, you know, it basically concludes with, you know, they're street racing. They win the money, right? For Jazz, right, in the car. But at the same time, they got the situation with Jeffrey's son. He's like, yo, if y'all rat me out about what I've been doing, I'll rat y'all out about street racing, right? And then we see Hillary trying to talk to LaMarcus, but LaMarcus ends up collapsing on the football field because she wants to tell him allegedly about what she has done, right? And at the same time, we got Uncle Phil, Viv. They get into it about him, the infidelity situations going on. That is the end of Belair. But I will be breaking down every episode of Belair from here on out. So make sure you guys swing by the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. And as always, thank you for tuning in to The Lawrence Report.